A nurse making a difference thanks to an Adventist school in Sri Lanka, hopes and dreams for Adventist education in Timor Leste, and what happens when a boy falls out of a tree and survives. Those stories and more coming up next. Hello and welcome to today's program, coming to you from the beautiful city of Yangon in Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. You know, if you stand here in the center of this capital city and you imagine a 3,000-mile radius and a circle going all around, that's some 5,000 kilometers. In this relatively small area, 60% of the world's population lives. That's a huge amount of people. And these are people who tend to live in poverty. They represent the major world religions other than Christianity. On today's program, we'll be looking at mission right here in this country. We'll also be traveling to Timor Leste. But first up, let's go to Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka is an island nation off the southeast coast of India. Because of its natural beauty and location, it is known as the Pearl of the Indian Ocean. Sri Lanka is a diverse country. It's home to many religious ethnicities and languages, with a predominantly Buddhist heritage. The Seventh-day Adventist Church membership here is only about 4,000 members and 37 churches in a population of some 20 million people. Lakpahana Adventist College and Seminary serves as Sri Lanka's only training center for church workers. With a growing membership, this school means a lot to mission. From its humble beginnings, Lakpahana is responsible for new members, health workers, administrators, and pastors to the mission field in Sri Lanka and abroad. Currently, there are some 370 students attending this school. With 85% of the student body from other religious groups, Lakpahana has a tremendous work and responsibility. Several former Lakpahana students have met Jesus here. Through education, church, or branch Sabbath school, people like Jaya Diaz have had their lives turned 180 degrees. Jaya comes from a non-Christian background. She found in Lakpahana a place to live out her new faith. Here she learned values and principles that guide her life today. Now Jaya works as a mentor and supervisor at Lakeside Adventist Hospital in the city of Kandy. Here she has a unique opportunity to connect with people through healing and teaching. As Jaya meets patients and nurses, she emphasizes that our body is the temple of God. Therefore, we must maintain it. With words of encouragement and sincere care, Jaya finds a way into every heart. For her, this is an opportunity to touch others as Jesus did and show them the light of His love.
I'm really blessed to be part of God's family. I really thank God for picking me particularly to serve Him. Okay, otherwise I would have been another tea plucker. God really blessed me of staying in Lakpahana.
Jaya is grateful for having access to Christian education. This education has made all the difference in her life. Lakpahana Adventist College is now in urgent need of your support for expansion. The membership has outgrown their humble meeting place of worship.
We simply don't have enough seats, and some of them who are sitting on the balcony down there in the chapel, and even we need to put some extra chairs in the corridor in order to accommodate all of them who come to the church.
Lakpahana needs a dedicated church building to accommodate God's people and receive many more every Sabbath. As Lakpahana workers do their part to fill God's church, please pray for the many challenges they face. This quarter, you can take part in the building project through your 13th Sabbath offering.
I'm delighted to be talking to my friend Pastor Gavin Johns, who is the Director for Adventist Mission here in Myanmar. It's great to see you again,
Great.
Gavan.
Great.
And we're here in the middle of summer, so
Right.
it's fairly warm.
I know.
Can you introduce our viewers to the country of Myanmar? Many of us are more familiar with the name Burma, but
Right.
just introduce us to your country.
Sure. Myanmar is part of the Southeast Asia, and it's between China, India, Thailand, Laos, and it has a lot of neighbors. It's a wide country. The population is about 53 million,
Yes.
and about 85% of that population is all Buddhists. And the Burma, there's a lot of tribes in Myanmar, 135 major tribes, and Burma is the main tribe. And Burma makes up about half of the population. It's a very friendly country.
Yes, I've experienced that. Now, 135 tribes, so does that mean there's 135 languages?
There's about nearly 6,000 languages.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's quite a challenge.
Yeah.
Well, can you introduce us now to the Adventist Church in this country?
The Adventist Church in our country is about 100 years old now. See, two colporteurs came to the country selling books, and eventually they met two Burma people, a brother and a sister, Myamar and Dili. And from them, they met him, they introduced them to the church. Eventually, Myamar visited India, and he was able to invite some workers to come and work in Burma, as it was then owned. And then eventually the church grew from there.
Wow. To more than 30,000 members.
Right,
now.
we have more than 30,000 members now. We have 5 missions, and the union is situated in Yangon. And we have about 300 workers,
Okay.
over 100 ordained pastors.
People
working.
employed by the church for
Sure.
work. Okay, now, Gavin, when we look at the history of the church, for many viewers who are Adventist, their knowledge of this country is through the stories of Eric B. Hare.
Right.
What is the significance of Eric B. Hare to the church in this country?
Eric B. Hare is the most outstanding person well known by the church, because he was the one that came to Burma, and he sort of started the work here. In fact, he's well known because of his down-to-earth attitude.
Yes.
He used to visit the villagers, eat in their homes, eat the fish paste that even they used to give him,
Yes.
because there was nothing special those days. Sleep on the bamboo floors. So he's well known. Another thing he's well known is because of his music bands that he used to have. In fact, some of our old senior workers still remember the days when he used to lead out the band, and they were members in his band, used to play the drum, used to play the trumpet. They still remember those days.
Ah, wonderful.
Yeah.
And so the church is actually celebrating 100 years since he first came to this country.
Well, yes, in a
And-
certain way, but
yes.
not so wide.
Yeah, but it's an anniversary. It's a
Yes, an
special-
anniversary, yeah.
Now, I'm very interested in what you're talking about, the way that he came and had an incarnational ministry
Right.
where he didn't keep himself separate, he became
Right,
one with the
right,
people to whom he was
right.
ministering.
Right, yeah.
Now, Gavin, as we look at the church here today, what are the major challenges that you face?
Well, as I mentioned, 85% of the population is Buddhist. So it is hard to evangelize in Burma because there's a lot of restrictions, done by other religions. And so we don't have open air meetings. We can't conduct those open air meetings. We can't do much outdoor activities. Mostly the activities we do in the church today is within the church only. We can't go out. But of course we can print. But even in printing, we have to go through different censors that restrict the language in certain ways, the usage of the language in certain ways, you see. And we have a school. We have our own Seventh-day Adventist schools, but they are known as seminaries,
Right.
not as schools,
Right.
because we are not permitted. See? And of course, apart from that, work is not so bad. We can move around.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do.
Now, I was very encouraged today to visit a centre of influence here in
Right.
the city.
Right.
And this facility was actually opened yesterday. What are the goals of this ministry?
Well, the goals of this ministry is for the community to be aware of their health
Yes.
and to know that there is a God that is interesting and wanting them to be healthy. So, because many people don't understand Christianity, they think it's the Western religion imported to Myanmar. So we want them to know that there is a God that is interested in them.
Yeah.
And the best way is through the health message.
Right. So it's a practical way of connecting with needs in the community.
Very right, yeah.
Now tell me a little bit about the schools. Do you have any, how many schools do we have in this country?
We have 5 missions in Myanmar, and each mission has their own elementary school.
Okay.
Plus, they have their primary schools and middle schools. And we have 1 seminary in Myamar. So the schools, yes, are functioning well, and they are overcrowded, I should say.
Yes.
Really overcrowded.
Because there's a big demand to...
Big demand, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us today, and may God continue to bless your ministry here.
My pleasure, Gary.
And viewers at home, please pray for the church here in Myanmar. Pray for the young people, the children, and the many challenges that are faced here. This is not a rich church. Their resources are very limited. So please pray that God will continue to bless. Pray for the centre of influence. Pray for the schools that are reaching out. And we'll be right back straight after this break. Welcome back to Yangon, Myanmar. Next, we travel to Timor Leste, where the only Seventh-day Adventist pastor in the entire country shares his dream and vision for Adventist education.
Thanks, Gary. I'm right now in Dili, Timor Leste, which is the capital of this one of the newest nations on the planet. And I'm here and I have the privilege of interviewing and being with my friend, Pastor Ignacio da Costa. Pastor Ignacio da Costa is the first and only Timorese Seventh-day Adventist pastor, and God has been working in mighty ways in his life. Pastor da Costa, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I wanted to have a chance for you to share from your heart, how has God worked in your life? First of all, let's ask, how did you first meet Jesus?
Yeah, thank you. I first met Jesus because of the word of the member of Seventh-day Adventist Church, and he sent me to the word of the Adventist Academy in Nusa Tenggara Mission, and finally I learned many things from there.
Right.
So I found Jesus Christ in there. About 2 years, 2 years to find Jesus Christ.
Right. So that's amazing on how this one church member, what was his name?
His name is Paulus Capital.
Paulus. Okay.
Yes.
And he was from Indonesia,
Yes.
serving in the local town,
Yeah.
and he was serving as in what capacity? What was his
As the
position?
policeman.
Okay, so he was a policeman.
But he worked also for the church.
Okay.
Yes.
And so as a Seventh-day Adventist,
Yes.
he was then working in the community.
Yes, of course.
What was his vision?
His vision, he want to prepare many young people so they can come back in here and to share the good news, the good news in whole country here, because he have a big dream for this Timor.
Right.
Yes.
And that dream was through Christian
So he can,
education.
his dream is through education. So he can establish some education in this country or this province that time.
Right.
So can help the young people so they can more be educated.
And when you came back after meeting Jesus Christ and accepting him, and what was on your heart when you saw the condition of your nation here? Because I know you had the Civil War, you had the other turmoil and the strife both from outside, and then the
Yes.
UN stepped in.
Yes.
What was on your heart? What dream did God give to you?
The first my dream, only maybe my dream, the first in my life when I come back to my country is for the education. Because through education we can prepare many people, prepare the human resource for even in the church, even the country. So that's why my dream is only for the school. This is a 15 years back.
Wow.
Yes, and even I sent letter to the division.
Yeah.
So I asked them to do this.
Well, I'm glad that we're able then to, at the World Church now and our viewers, that we're able
Yes.
then to help make that dream a reality.
Yes.
We're here and we're surrounded by all these precious kids in your
Yes,
neighborhood.
you know, it's a very kids here.
And so this is something right now, as these kids are growing up, what are the challenges that are being faced in your country right now?
Yeah, you know, as you see that we have many kids surrounding us, but we have some education limited because we just growing up and just build. So even though in some classes, actually the place is just for 30 or 40, but they can pull there all together is about 70 and very crowded and also limited time, so they have to change and everything. So you know, this is one opportunity, and also this is my dream, so we can have some education.
Right. Wow. And so your country right now, because as it's developing, is facing this classrooms that are overcrowded
Yes.
and maybe not enough teachers and not enough schools.
Yes, it's true.
And so that's something right now, your dream that God put in your heart 15 years
Yes.
ago was to then have a school that then can teach you on how to have excellent education,
Yes.
as well as then teach about Jesus and his love and his soon return.
Yes, yes.
Well, that's great. Can you now share, I know that as you've shared with me in the past, your experience, you are like a modern day Paul, and I know that you're a humble man, but can you share with our viewers how God protected you that one night at Nolasco's house in one of the far provinces?
Yes.
How did God send his angels to protect you?
Thank you. Because that has happened, of course, because of education. And many young people come to the church and Seventh Adventist church, you know, but they have a facing challenging about the Sabbath, so they don't go to the school. So, you know, after that, and their parents, they really think how their future.
Right.
So, when I visit their house is far away from the city, no electricity, in the mountain. And after that, they're planning together. And midnight, in the 12th midnight, they come, and many people, they come and they stone me, and they want to kill me. Even one of the two people, they want to go to the police, but you know, they make an arrow, want to kill them. So we wait until 5 o'clock, and after that, they come back again, and they beat me and everything. But thank God that God always protect me and until now, so I'm still alive here.
Wow, praise God.
Just not only that, because of a many thing, but I think that's one that I want to share for all the friends in the world.
Right, right. And I know that was caused, like you were just sharing, that you received those death threats and the stoning
Yes,
and those
yes.
even the police, like you were just saying,
Yeah.
they were going to shoot even the
Yes.
police with arrows.
Yes.
That was caused why? Because of Christian education, you were giving Bible studies and educating the neighborhood kids
Yes.
to read.
Yeah, I'm sharing the good news for the people there around. So there are more young people that, as you say, in the church, but they don't have we don't have an education here. So if no, they go to the public school and they treat it not fair because of the Saturday. So that's why the parents are thinking that this is not the future for them. So, but if we have some education system in here, so this is no problem because they can enjoy the study there. That's why very difficult for them. So the parents want to kill me because they thought that I am teaching something wrong because they no future for them in the world view.
Right. Wow. And I know that because of their maybe misunderstanding,
Of course.
as well as then in this developing country where religious liberty maybe can be strengthened.
Yes.
And so that's something, what else can our viewers, what can they pray for Timor Leste in this nation?
Okay, yes. I think we have to pray for the religion of liberty, for we can exercise our faith. That's the first one. The second one, we did really pray for us so how we can have some education, Christian education, the quality education to educate our young people and even in the outside so they can teach them. It's not only the knowledge in the world, but also knowledge for how to live with Jesus Christ. That's we really want to pray for us.
Right. Well, thank you, Pastor Da Costa, for inviting us and bringing us to your neighborhood. And thank you, Gary. I hope that you've been able to be touched by how God is working in this wonderful country and how our viewers and together we can continue to uplift Timor Leste in our prayers. Back to you, Gary.
Next stop, Sri Lanka, where we continue to learn about the importance of Adventist education.
Avinash is a young boy from Sri Lanka. He dreamed of going to school someday. Many of his friends studied at Lakbahana Seventh-day Adventist School, but Avinash's family simply could not afford his education anywhere. Fortunately, the local Adventist pastor invited Avinash to become a student at Lakbahana, and he promised to help pay for the expenses of a good Christian education. Avinash eagerly started getting ready for school, but one day as he was climbing a tree to pick fruit, his foot slipped and down came Avinash. He was badly injured and was taken to the local Adventist hospital. There, doctors examined Avinash and took x-rays. The doctors told him it could take several months for him to get better. What was he going to do? This was his only opportunity to attend school. As the nurses cared for Avinash, his dad came to encourage him to get well soon. If he did, he could begin school right away. Although in a lot of pain, Avinash was anxious to get better. For an entire month, Avinash did all he was told to try and get better, but the doctors wouldn't let him go. It was only after 2 of the longest months of his life that Avinash was cleared to leave the hospital. Avinash quickly got ready for school. When the bell rang, he was there, ready to start classes, and he worked hard to get the best grades possible. In this school, Avinash has learned many important lessons. He has also learned about God and His healing power. So today he studies his Bible and works with his hands in the school gardens. He is helping pay for his studies. Avinash asks you to pray and support the work of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. If it wasn't for Lakbahana School, he would never have the chance to study and become one of God's children.
Well, I hope that you've enjoyed today's 360-degree view of mission around the world, from the busy streets of Yangon, Myanmar, to East Timor, to Sri Lanka, all around the world, in rural areas, in urban areas, among the rich, among the poor, in different cultural groups. Men and women, boys and girls are sharing the light of God's love. And thank you for your continuing prayerful support for mission around the world. It does make a difference. Before we go, I'd like to send you a small free offer to thank you for your continuing support. Just call the number on your screen right now. And for Adventist Mission, I'm Gary Krause, and I hope that you can join me next time right here on Mission 360.